I'm Yunus. I work for church, as Arthur said. Recently, I left my job and started to interview companies and experienced a lot of hiring processes. So I want to talk about that. Firstly, I want to mention about preparing resume. It's my part of my resume. I talked about my profile. It's very important because company doesn't know anything about you before you apply job, and after apply job, they take insights from this profile part, and you should give info about your actual persona in work life. It's one example of that. Also, a resume has some other parts like skills you have. It can be hard skills, soft skills, work experience, education. Work experience and education very likely similar to prepare style, and publications if you are academician or like that, researcher like that. Also, you can optionally add your projects, voluntary experiences, certificates, foreign languages, organizations you attend, like Anywhere Club, your interests. I don't prefer adding my interests, but some company thinks that's helpful for if they are fit with their culture in some other aspects, and hours and references. In resume, I prefer passive sentences forms because it's about talking about my persona. And I start with when I talking about any work experience or education experiences, I start with describe them. For example, Church is a Vision AI company that makes Vision AI products for U.S. military service, some commercials like Best Buy, Agricare, etc. And I talk about my responsibilities, objectives, and achievements with outcome and metrics. It's very important because interviewer or human resources want to see what you achieved with metric. You manage team, but how its size? You refactored the project, but what is its outcome? It's cost reduced, or it makes and something different, or you manage the advertising campaign. It was successful, etc. Also, there's a skill part. I mostly add my hard skills because soft skills mostly about your leadership and your personal things, and human resources get actually very easily what kind of a person you are. Another very important part is I think it's most important part while searching for a job. You need to know what the company is and what they're working for. I also worked as a hiring manager for tech companies. In my last job, also I did tech interviews, and all of the human resources asks. Also, I ask, what do you know about this company? What do you know about Church? And most of people don't know about it. Just they are applied and waited for interview. And it's very bad insight because you have to talk about where you fit in with this company, because you need to have motivation working with this company. Also, I mentioned about cover letter. Most of companies doesn't require this, but it's makes advantages. If they didn't require, you can also prepare this, and don't use passive forms here. Here you need to talk about yourself with I. I am Yunus, I do this, and you need to talk about why you choose this company, your aims after being hired this company, where do you fit with it, and it's also gives insights what you do in your first interview. Also, it prepares your first interview. For example, your initial interview needs some scripts. The scripts prepared before interviews, you can have generic scripts and used for different companies in different aspects. You will talk about your skills, qualities, and attributes, and you will give one example about your recent work life and your performance linked to the company success that you applied for, and if you talk about how you will add value, your research carried out, and it's important you are a good leader. If you are going to join this company as a software developer, also you need to be good leader, because of the communication is the key point of working with a good culture. We are not machine, we are people, so we need to communicate well as a leader do. And you can talk about how this company has impacted positively on your life. For example, if you apply for Getir, you can talk about I use Getir for my purchases, some households, etc. It makes extra point for you, and you can talk about how this is place you can grow and develop. I want to give an example about this script in my interviews. For example, I am Yunus, I am dependable co-worker who is into also social sciences. In my last company, I refactored analytics projects for making cost, maintaining and server cost less. And I want to, for example, I applied for Anywhere Club as a company. I want to make Anywhere Club's events with more attendance, with growing around the world. And when I searched about Anywhere Club, it's a global club that invites people, their networks and communities, to make them one step further in their career life, and also make them meet new people. Anywhere Club make me meet a lot of people from different cultures as well. And if I join Anywhere Club, I'm sure that I will improve my leadership skills with doing blah 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 blah. With having scripts like that before applying all of the jobs, you will come closer to success one step more. STAR method, I want to especially mention about this. Most of high-tech companies requires this in their interviews and mentions about that, but it makes you have more advantage while other behavioral interviews. For example, if you HR asks for you, talk me about a difficult situation in your last job, or things like that about your behavior, you can answer with STAR method. STAR method is talking with, starting with situation, and you mention about your task, resolve that, and your action, what did you do, and taking results. It's a kind of storytelling. This is where you set the stage. Put the interviewer in your show, so they want to follow along for the rest of the story. Then describe your task and what did you do, and after all of that, describe your outcome with metrics if possible. I want to give an example. While working at Zebramo, there was a problem ambiguity in Turkish search. For example, if you search for dinner table, it gives results for dinner and table, but not dinner table. So it makes sellers listing bad, and buyers can't reach product they have. Situation is that, and my task is fixing with that, making search without ambiguity, with better results, reaching our target. And I research about Turkish searches. We used Elasticsearch, and there's a tool, natural language processing tool named Zemberek in Turkish, and made as a plugin for Elasticsearch. And after deploying, the problem solved. As a result, customers make happy. It make customers happy. Listings are better, and company have 20% more users with that, for an example. Until this part, it's mostly focused on human resource interview, behavioral interviews. But if you are tech people, for example, DevOps, software engineer, etc., you may be doing some interviews like coding interview, STEM design interview, and upskill interview. Coding interview is two different kinds. One of them offline. You take this code challenge home without any people, and if you pass, you can take other processes. And there's a coding interview like live coding interview. You make this with people from tech team, company that applied. So I suggest that preparing coding interview is very important. Using LeetCode, Algo Expert, or HackerRank, you can solve many problems that companies ask for, and you feel more comfortable while answering them. In system design interview, they gives you a system and want to design that abstractly. For example, let's design a hotel booking system. What you do for STEM design interviews, you know about STEM design, which is reliability, scalability, availability for a product. And for upskill interview, it's like a PhD interview. They ask for everything you learned while you study and your work life, and asks for topics and choose some topics and interviews about that. Preparing this needs more effort, like researching about these topics. For example, MongoDB, PostgreSQL, Python language, Java language, and you deep digger in its details. But it's not very common. It's a senior interview. I interviewed upskill interview 2 times in my life, but it takes very effort. Thank you for listening to me. I'm glad to be here with you. I hope I gave you some insights from my experiences. There's my Instagram and LinkedIn. You can add me. And also, if you send me your resume or CV, I will evaluate for you for next job applications of you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, it was an incredible presentation. So let's have questions. Please raise your hands if you have questions.
Could you tell a little more about your funnel? What number of companies did you applied to what share of them replied, and what final offers or declines did you have?
Thank you for the question. I applied to a lot of companies because I gave a career break, so I left my job. After 1 or 2 months, I started to apply jobs. But while applying, I didn't apply it randomly. I choose companies that I will fit their culture, their work style, their technologies, and I looked at what I can learn from here and etc. It's like choosing a partner, because if you want to stay in long run, you have to research and feel like I will fit with here.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. My question is, do companies in Turkey have tendency to have kind of some extra, processes before interview, like test stuff for something else?
Some companies have, some companies not. Some company gave me coding challenge before technical interviews. Some companies gave me a project for evaluate my coding skills. But if you prepare generally these things, you probably feel comfortable all of the interviews. Not extra different thing happen in Turkish companies. Also, in Turkish companies, it's faster to be hired because processes takes less than foreign companies.
And one more question. Is it obligatory to have like residence, it's in Turkish it's called kapkilik, to be hired? Like you first you make your temporary resident card, and then you are hired. Or the companies make whole visas, and all, like you can just enter the country and you will be hired.
Most of company in Turkey wants you live in Turkey while applying here, but some of companies has relocation options such as Peak Games, Zynga Games in Turkey. For some companies, it's possible to work remotely, but its income mostly less than because of the exchange rate, other companies. So if you want to get your chance higher, you have to relocate in Turkey.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
What is average salary in Turkey? I mean, meetup developer, for example.
It really depends on company size, their investments, and their intention to give money. Some of Turkish companies gives USD or Euro, and their salary is larger than other companies. Mostly these are startups invested from Europe investors or US investors. Banks gives more than small companies in Turkey. I applied a lot of Turkish company too. I get a great offer from one of them. It's a Turkish startup invested with valuation of 10 million recently, and they offered me, can I share the price? 50,000 shares for joining this job in 4 years, and it's very huge. Chuch gave me $5,000. Dollars, both dollars. As a salary, but Chuch more than this company. This company gives Turkish lira salary because it's a little company. Then Chuch is a billion-dollar company. It depends actually. Some companies gives more, gives less. I choose some benefits more than salary. For example, stock option. So I said them and they gave me more. Some foreign companies gives less salaries. It's actually depends on your talent and your expectations and company's intentions.
Okay, thank you. So, Yunus, thank you very much.
Thank you too.